Hi all, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira and my channel is all about trying new makeup, talking about new makeup, but also finding new and exciting ways to be inspired by the makeup you already own. If that sounds good to you, I hope you consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed today's video, hitting the like button. Today, guys, we are going to be playing with some new drugstore makeup. Yes, I said drugstore. What? I know. But there have been a lot of new drugstore releases that have intrigued me and that are very much looking like dupes of higher end brands products. And so it got me thinking, and I'm like, you know what? I want to try it. I want to try some of these things. So I did a little drugstore haul recently on Ulta and got the items here, and I've been trying them. I've been wearing them. Full disclosure, this isn't a first impression. I've been using a lot of these things for the past, I want to say about a week or so. So I kind of have an opinion about all of them. But yeah, we're going to put them on my face. I'm going to do a full face and we are going to talk about them. So let's get into it. All right, guys, I have zoomed you in. I have done my brows. I always do my brows off camera. If you've been here a while, you know that, because your girl can't talk while she does her brows. It's a job that I have to focus on. However, I will say that I have been using these past few days this new brow product that I got from Lottie London. It is the Mega Brow Shaping Wax, and I have it in the tinted shade. And let me open it up so you can see. So it's brown like this. It's a bit warm for my brows. I have it on, so it doesn't actually look that bad. Although I will say this is the first time I've seen it on camera. I don't have my glasses on, so what I see is not quite as detailed as maybe what you can see. But I don't hate it, but I do feel like it's more for someone or people who have a bit more thickness to their brows already. For me, I don't feel like this gives me as much sort of like volume and really like fills in my brows and thickens them up like my Kosas brow gel does. So I don't hate this, and this is maybe my 4th or 5th time using this. I don't hate it, but I don't necessarily know if it's for me. However, I will say I tried the Patrick Ta, the clear version of his brow wax, and I like this one more. I decluttered that one in my I think it was my last declutter, the Patrick Ta one, but I like this one more. And this one was, I think, 10 bucks, and it comes with a little brush. So, and it does have a clear version as well, but I opted for the tinted. All right, so let's get into the actual face makeup. So the first thing I want to talk about and put on my face is this e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter Glow Booster for Radiant Skin. And this is the very viral, very popular dupe of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I have it in the shade medium tan, and my main gripe with this product so far, and I've used this about 3 or 4 times now, is the shade. This is the medium tan shade, and can you see how warm that is? But the shade below it, so the lighter shade, is a full shade and a half lighter than this one, which for me, I wouldn't feel comfortable using. And so I feel like there is, and if I can remember, I'll put a picture up of what the actual shades look like swatched, but I feel like there's a huge gap between medium and medium tan, and I really think they should have had medium tan and then another shade, because this one is supposed to basically cover a good 6 shade foundation shade range, and it doesn't. So basically what I've been doing is taking this. It is, again, very warm, and I'll show you on my hand how warm that is. I've been taking this, taking a few drops of this, and the packaging is very similar to the Hollywood Flawless Filter. It's the big doe foot applicator and the top. I've been taking this and I've been mixing it with the foundation that I've been trying, which is also a drugstore, which is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. I've been wearing this for a while now. I want to say a good 3 weeks. This one is a bit warm too. So I'm going to show you how I lighten, sort of, not lighten, but balance them out. So this is the foundation, and that's the glow serum. My feelings about this foundation have changed. When I first wore it, the first couple of times I wore it, I loved it because it had a nice glow to it. And now I feel like it doesn't. And I don't know if that's my skin. Maybe my skin was just extra glowy those days. I don't know. But I put this on my brush. I've got a BK 106 And I'm going to apply this, and you can see how warm that is on my face. It's very, very warm. Very, very warm. And I do even it out. I still feel like my skin is a bit warmer than I would like when I'm wearing this. Because my skin, and just for reference, my skin is, I'm neutral with yellow, slightly yellow golden undertones. So it's not like this is like terrible. It's just too warm. It's just like if this were just a shade, like just a smidge less golden, it would be good for me. But it's so warm, you know, it's just so warm. And again, it doesn't look bad once I've like put all my makeup on and everything. It's just that I feel like I have to tweak it quite a bit to get it where I want it. So this is what this looks like, this little mix here. I don't wear this on its own. I haven't tried this on its own, the Halo Glow, because of how warm it is. And also, even if I had like I had a little sample of the Hollywood Flawless filter, but it was a little too light for me. But even that I wouldn't have worn on its own. For me, this is either a primer or something to be mixed with your foundation. I just wouldn't wear this on its own. It does have some coverage to it, I will say that, but it's not like a ton. So this is what it looks like on my face now. Not terrible, as you can see, because my neck is warmer than my face, but still pretty warm. So let me wipe my hand off. So what I've been doing, I've been going in with a concealer. This is not Drugstore, but I'm going to apply it anyway because this is what I've been doing to warm up my face. So I'm taking the Kofi concealer. Not my fave concealer. I've got a little bit of a problem there. I don't know where that came from. Not my favorite concealer, but I will go over that when I do my like review roundup, because I'm planning on doing just like a nice little review roundup of all of the makeup that I've tried over the last like month or so, 2 months. So I'm just going to take this and I'm applying this under my eye, but I'm also just blending it out just a little bit, taking it further down the center of my face. And what I feel like this does is just to balance out the extreme golden warm tones that the foundation and the Hollywood I'm about to call it Hollywood Flawless Filter, the Halo Glow, give my face. So it just kind of helps even it out just a bit. As you can see, it's like still warm, but it's not terrible. This concealer is more on the matte side, I feel like. So it does take away some of the glow, but I don't mind because, as you see, I'm gonna have other things on my face that have some glow to them. All right, so now that that is done, I am going to go in with the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Bronzer, and I have it in the shade, what shade do I have? Seaside Shimmer. So I'm gonna take my bronzer brush here, and I've actually been combining this with another bronzer, which is the one that's in my my little makeup capsule, which is the NARS bronzing cream in Laguna. And the reason why I do that is to help bring down some of the warmth, the like warmth in my face. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to try it on its own and see how I feel about it, but that's how I've been wearing it recently. And the combo actually works because this one does have some shimmer to it, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's quite on the lighter side, but again, if you guys know me, I prefer a bronzer that's a little bit lighter that I can build up as to one that's like super dark, and then I feel like I have to like pull back. So I'm going in with that, and I'm using my favorite, this is my go-to brush for cream bronzers. This is my Units 303. Looks like this with that angle. Love this brush for cream bronzers. It is the perfect brush for it in my opinion because it gives you a lot of control. Okay, so I finished applying that, and as you can see, this does have a nice glow to it. I was actually really impressed by this bronzer. I have the original one, and I forget what shade I have. I think it's like honey something, honey child or something, and I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it though. I don't know if it's going to survive the declutter, and I'm you know, planning on filming, and I'm getting ready to film my beginning of the year declutter. I don't know if it will survive it, but if it doesn't, this will be a great replacement for it because I love the sheen. And this is not from the Halo Glow. This is from the bronzer. Isn't that beautiful? So I've been really enjoying this product specifically for bringing that glow back out once I've had to sort of even out my skin tone with concealer. Next up, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Blush. I have never tried the putty blush formula. I know some people love it, some people hate it. It's a very like love it or hate it type of formulation. I've never tried them, so this is sort of was my first experience with them, but I got it in the shade Barbados. And the reason why I was pushed to try this is because it's luminous. And this is what it looks like. How pretty is that, guys? Look at that. Oh, and I was worried at first that this was maybe going to be a little darker than I would like, but it does have that stiffness, and I know a lot of people dislike that stiffness. You do have to sort of go in and really dig. And this is a Wet n Wild brush. I don't even know if it's just a Wet n Wild slanted brush, similar to the concealer brush that I use, but I love this is what I use for my cream blushes. So I just really dig in there, and I get a decent amount on my brush, and then I just go in. And I mean, look how much product that is placing on my face. Like, I don't have to worry about the fact that it doesn't pick up. So I'm just blending this in. All right, and this is what it looks like. I went a little ham, so I'm just gonna go over the edges a bit with my foundation brush. As I tend to do with blushes, I go a little ham. This one is dark though, so to go ham with this is like not necessarily the smartest move, but I just was going and I was like, ooh, I love it. But look how pretty that is. It gives you that like sunburnt, wind burnt face that's so popular. First of all, I love this anyway. This is generally how I do my blushes, that whole sort of like draping, but then I bring it across my nose and put a little bit on my forehead. So for me, this is like, I'm happy. And I love, again, look how pretty that glow is. Look at that. It's just so pretty. I'm just gonna go over that just a little bit with this, but it's just so, I've been really loving this combo of the bronzer with the blush. And again, as you can see, I was able to pick up a ton. As you can see on my face, I was able to pick up a ton. I don't have any issues picking it up. I just really go in there and swirly whirly whirl, and this is what I get, and I'm quite happy with it. All right, now let's do eyes. And so let's have a little discussion, shall we? So I picked up 3 of the CoverGirl Clean Color like quad little mini eyeshadow palette. So I picked up the one that is called Midnight Sky, that looks like this, very pretty. I picked up the one that is called Classic Smoky, and the reason why I picked up 3 is Ulta was having a buy to get one free, and I couldn't decide between these 2. These were the 2 that I knew I wanted, and then I just got this one as my free one, and this one is the one called Spiced Copper. I have not used the other 2. I have used this one, and I have to say, guys, I was a little shook. I don't have the best luck with drugstore eyeshadows. I can name on one hand drugstore palettes, eyeshadow palettes that I've enjoyed and that I like, and a lot of them you can't even get anymore. You know, one of my all-time favorite palettes is the Milani Soft and Sultry palette. You can't get that anymore, and not only can you not get that anymore, but Milani has completely changed their eyeshadow formulation, and it's not as good as it used to be. So I was very trepidatious, but I was like, well, they're on sale and I'm gonna, you know, I'll try them out. I felt like it's all new stuff. Maybe it'll be great. I don't know. So I tried Spiced Copper. I was just doing a simple, like, warm eye. I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw this on my eye really quickly. And can I just say, these shades here, these mattes, are really good. They're so pigmented. Look how pretty those are. And then this copper shade, this like copper metallic, is beautiful as well. I'm not a huge fan of this last shade. It's very dry, very dry. And it's kind of not as shiny as you would want it to be. I was able to get, I used it on my inner corner, and I was able to get something out of it by like wetting the brush. But I would say these 3 shades are amazing, and this one's kind of the flop of the palette, but I feel like for drugstore that's pretty dang good, and the fact that the mattes are such a standout is really quite nice as well. So I think for today I want to use, I might try to mix these up, because this one has a black matte and then like a taupey kind of satin tone, and then this one is all metallics, I think. Let's open it up and swatch. Again, I will say my least favorite thing about drugstore makeup is the packaging. I hate drugstore packaging with the heat of 1,000 suns. I will tell you that right now. I hate feeling like I have to fight to get into my makeup. You know what I mean? To unpack, to unwrap it. And I get why. Like, I get the logic of it. But it just, for me, it just makes the experience less enjoyable. All right. It took forever to get these open. And it was just, yeah. All right, so this is Classic Smoky. Loving these tones. I don't know if I'm going to go in with the black, because I just really love these tones here. So what I might do is take maybe that tone. But let's see. Let's play around. Let's play and see what happens. All right, eyes are primed. Let me zoom you guys in. Hello. So where should we start? Where should we start? What should we do? I'm going to pull out some brushes. I'm going to use some synthetic brushes. I'm going to use my units. I think I'm going to go in. I don't feel like these have individual. I feel like I have tape. I have to use my teeth to open, because I didn't have anything sharp. And I feel like I have tape in my teeth. You know. I think I'm going to go in with this one here. And I'm going to apply that into my crease and see if it will apply sort of like a satin. So, do I have tape in my teeth? No. Okay. So, we're gonna see. This is definitely not a satin, but I'm gonna try and use it like a satin and see if it gives me what I need. I do feel like there needs to be more mattes in some of these quads. Like the Spice Copper one has 2. So it's clear that they can formulate mattes for these little quads. And I just wish that the other two that I have had some mattes in them. Because this is definitely not a matte. This is a sort of a less shiny metallic. As you can see, it's got some shine to it there. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. Like I said, I was really impressed with the mattes in the Spice Copper palette, but I'm in a cool tone mood today. I was yesterday as well, and the day before that. So we're just gonna go with it. Okay, so I've applied this into my crease on both eyes. I love the tone. I just wish it was an actual satin. That's my only gripe, is I just wish it was actually a satin. It's not. It is definitely like a metallic. I'm gonna go in. I wasn't going to, but I think I will go in with this black, but I'm gonna use a smaller brush for that. And I'm gonna just take that to the corner. Oh, okay. That is very pigmented. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna take a little bit of that over here. And I think also the fact that I'm using like a natural hair brush is another reason why it's picking up quite a lot of product. So that is something that you can definitely, yeah, I definitely have a little, a little fallout there on my lip. Okay, so the black has been applied. One thing I will say is that the black, much like, let's see if I can show you guys, much like this shade here, and I don't know if you can see it in the light, but this has a tiny bit of shimmer throughout. And the black in this one, and you can kind of see here, it does as well. And I think that was put in because that can sometimes help with the blending of a matte shade, just to add a little shimmer to it. So I think that is what they did, which I actually think is quite smart. It's a nice little sort of, not a cheat, but it's a good way to get blendability from a matte. And I would say that this black is quite pigmented and it blended really nicely. So I think that was a smart move on their part to do that. So now what do I want to put on my lid? These are, both quite silvery. You know what I'm gonna do? And this is the other tone from the blue palette. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take this shade again, but I'm gonna use it as it was intended, which is sort of like as a metallic. And I'm gonna use my 308 units brush, and I'm gonna dip, and it's a flat brush. I'm gonna dip into that, but I'm also gonna wet the brush to get a little bit more from the metallic tone. Okay, so let's see how this applies now that I have wet my brush. What is this looking like? It's a bit more metallic, not a ton, not by a ton, but it is giving a little bit more dimension. That's quite pretty. So this is just 2 shades. I actually really like the way that that's looking. I'm gonna go in with this silver tone now, and I'm gonna just put that in the inner part of my lid. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that. I need to wet my brush again. Yeah, I probably should just a little. Let's get some control. And we're just gonna pop that right here. Because I don't want the look too silvery. Like, I want it cool toned, but I don't want it silvery, if that makes sense. Or for the silver to take over the look. How pretty is that? Oh, I like that so much. That's so pretty. Okay. Now I'm gonna do my lower lash line. I'm gonna go in, I think what I'm gonna do is go in with this tone here on my lower lash line. I'm gonna do that off camera though, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I've taken that shade and just smoked it out on my lower lash line using my units 310. I'm now gonna take this shade here with the same brush, and I'm gonna dip into that, and I'm gonna wet the brush this time. But I used that shade just pretty much how I used it the first time when I was filling in my creases. I didn't wet it or anything, just to get that sort of like satin vibe. So now I'm gonna take this shade, I'm gonna put it in my inner corner, but I'm also gonna take it just a little further over into the lower lash line. Excuse me, excuse my mirror making that bang bang noise. That is really pretty. I'm really happy with that. I poked myself in the eye, but that's, you know, story of my life. All right, I'm gonna go off camera and put mascara on because I did not buy any drugstore mascara because I have a ton of mascaras and I didn't want to add to my collection. So give me a sec. All right, guys, I am back. I've zoomed you out. This is what the finished eye look looks like. I am really, really happy with this. This little palette is, I've tried now two of the 3 that I purchased, and I like them both. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of this shade here. It's quite gritty and hard to pick up, but it was still usable. Like, I just wet my brush and I used it more as an inner corner highlight. I wet this brush here. I've been using, one thing I will say is I've been using synthetic brushes with this, and it's been working well. These blend really well, so not an issue. However, with this one, I would say for like the black, a natural hair brush might be easier. Just saying. I haven't tried this one yet. This is still on my to try list, but so far 2 out of 3 haven't been bad at all. Let's go get into lips. I purchased one of the e.l.f, I guess they call them O-Face, which are like their dupe of the NARS lipsticks, and the shade that I got, which is the shade No Doubt, looked darker in the swatches online than it is in real life. So this is what it looks like. And it's quite light on me, quite light. So I wasn't a huge fan of it. The formulation is quite lovely. I can show you guys what it looks like. I'm not gonna, well, I mean, I guess what I could do is pair this with a brighter lip, because I also have these other 2 lipsticks that I got from Maybelline. So I've had this one, and this is, I was wearing this in a video recently and you guys were complimenting my lipstick, and it was this one. This is the shade Carmen Courage, and then I have the shade Rosewood Ambition, but these are both pinky and red, and I kind of want to go nude. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this, but I'm going to apply it with my lip liner, like a darker lip liner, apply it, and then maybe put a gloss over it just to give my lips a little bit of dimension so I don't have mannequin lips. Let me go grab my lip pencil and I'll be back. Kind of soften that and blend it up a bit into the lip. Now I'm going to take this shade No Doubt. Looks like this, and I can swatch it on my hand so you guys can see it. But as you can see, it's a really pretty shade, but it's just a little too, just a tad too light for me. I thought it was about a shade darker than it actually is. At least it looks about a shade darker online than it is in real life. As you can see, it's quite light. But the formulation is nice. It's I don't know if I would say it's matte. It's not, it's satiny, but it doesn't have like a sheen to it at all. But it also doesn't feel matte, if that makes sense. So, see, now I kind of like that. With this pencil, first time I wore it, I was like, I don't know. And I think it was just because I was expecting it to be darker, so it wasn't, and I was just a bit disappointed. But I don't actually hate this. Whoa. Had a minor accident over here with my primer water that I used to wet my brushes, but disaster averted. Okay, so this is the lip. I think I'm gonna line it again. Like, I liked filling it in, but I think I'm gonna line it just a little bit more on the top lip just to give it a bit more dimension. This is something that I do, is I'll go in with the liner and then go in again with the liner. And it just helps. I don't mind that. That's actually quite pretty. I will say the taste and smell is not my fave for this. It's kind of got like a chemically kind of, it's not scented. It doesn't have any scent to it, but, or taste to it, but it's almost like you can taste the ingredients. You know what I mean? So that's not my favorite. And I don't necessarily need a scented lipstick. I'm just saying that the taste and smell of this one for me is a tiny bit off-putting. But outside of that, it's the formulation feels quite nice on the lips. So yeah, guys, this is the finished look. This is the makeup that I've been testing out, drugstore makeup that I've been testing out. As you can see, most of it was e.l.f. because e.l.f. has dropped a ton of new products recently. There's a couple of other products that they've released. I really want to try their color correctors. They have these new like lip lacquer thingies that I really want to try. They've just been dropping a lot lately, and most of it has been really intriguing to me. I will also say that most of it has been clear dupes of other brands products, like higher end brands. Like this is a knockoff of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is a knockoff of the NARS lipstick, not just in, you know, the packaging, but like the bullet itself. All of it is very NARS, and especially considering that I just bought my first NARS lipsticks. Opening that, it felt like I had just opened my NARS lipsticks again. So yeah, I feel like they're duping a lot of brands, but they're coming out with some really interesting products. Like, again, I don't dislike this. I just wish there was another tone between the shade below it and this one itself. It's just so warm. And so for me, I don't know how much use I'm going to get out of it because I'm going to constantly have to be adjusting it. And that kind of just creates more steps than maybe I'm interested in doing, you know, on a day-to-day basis. I've been testing this, so I have been doing those steps, but I mean, for like my everyday day-to-day life, I don't know if I'm going to be wanting to do that all the time. But I will say that it does give the skin a nice glow. This foundation, I've used a ton of it. I don't even know if you guys can see, but I've used a ton of this. And I haven't had it that long, so I don't know if that means that this is just like not full. I've shown this on the channel before that I hate the packaging for this. I'm not as in love with it as I was when I first tried it, but it's not a bad like foundation. I'm kind of like, especially when I have foundations that I really love, you know. I'm just kind of like, part of me wants to finish it because I've used so much of it that I'm kind of like, well, I could probably finish that up. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, so far I would say that I'm loving most of these products. For me, I would say the sleeper hits for me have been these CoverGirl eyeshadows. I was not expecting to really like these, guys. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I kept looking for drugstore makeup and I kept like skipping over eyeshadow. I'm like, I can't do eyeshadow. But I think, to me, this proves that drugstore can formulate good eyeshadows if they actually take the time to do so. Okay. I will say also, I think it needs to be said that drugstore nowadays, drugstore makeup isn't as affordable as it used to be. e.l.f.'s products have been, I think, of course, the most affordable items that I've purchased. But these CoverGirl palettes were, I think, let me look up how much I paid for these. Okay, so the CoverGirl palettes, these were $13.99 each. These are $14 palettes. That to me is expensive for drugstore, especially when you consider the fact that you can get a ColourPop eyeshadow for a palette, 9 pan maybe, or even larger if you can get it on sale for the same amount of money, more product that is just as good. Like, these are good. I would say they're like ColourPop good, not like Natasha Denona good. You know what I mean? Like, these are good palettes for the price point. But this is also a 4-pan palette for $14 from the drugstore. I just think that's a lot. And maybe I'm just like out of practice with drugstore, but to me that's a lot. And I say that as somebody who buys luxury makeup, higher end makeup. I spent, you know, $28 on these 2 palettes and got one for free. That's a lot. I feel like that's a lot. Again, the most affordable items and the things that have blown me away the most have been the e.l.f. products. This was only $7. This was $7. The most expensive item was the Halo Glow, which was $14. This foundation, which I mentioned in the video before, was $20. I can get foundations at Sephora for $20 that I can actually shade match properly. This one's an okay match for me. It's not the best. The range is a little funky because it's like this is considered 6, 7. So it's not a large shade range to begin with. But my point is that I spent $20 for this when I can go into Sephora and get an LIS Beauty foundation for $22 and get shade matched. So my feelings about the drugstore makeup scene right now is kind of like a mixed bag. I feel like the price points are not as cheap as they used to be. These Maybelline lipsticks, these were $13 each. I think that's expensive for drugstore, you know? I think where you're past the $10 price point for a lot of things, you're kind of getting into a point, hi baby, hi, do you want to go out? Okay, hold on one moment please. Back. So as I was saying, when you get past the $10 price point and you're in the 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 price, you know, range, for me personally, it makes me question if it's worth it. If I'm spending that much money, I'm now not in a drugstore price range. I'm in a price range where I could probably get a lot of these things from like ColourPop. You can get, and also ColourPop is sold in Ulta as well, just like all of these brands. But I just feel like it makes me question, like, I would rather for a couple of dollars more get something a bit more luxurious feeling, a little bit more, the packaging to be nicer. The packaging on this is a $20 foundation and the packaging is trash. It's trash. So those things count to me. Now, they may not count to everyone. They may not count to you, but packaging and presentation to me is part of the experience. You know, I have this, and I'll probably do another new makeup video because, again, I bought a bunch of stuff like over the, you know, from Black Friday to the holidays. But I also picked up a few items recently because I was just really curious about them. But I recently bought this, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Face Architect Highlighter in Rose Gold Glow. It's beautiful. I've been using it as a blush. It's stunning. How stunning is that? It's so pretty. But the packaging feels cheap. It does. And for the price point of this compared to this, I want this to feel nice. You know what I mean? So my point being that not all luxury makeup is created equal, and there are luxury makeup products that don't necessarily feel luxurious. Now, I will say the product in here is very much high-end and beautiful and amazing. Packaging, not so much. But I just feel like the likelihood of getting great packaging and a great product are a little bit higher with luxury makeup or higher end makeup, you know, not necessarily luxury, because there's ranges, there's layers to this. I wouldn't say that everything in my makeup collection is luxury, of course not. And if you've seen my makeup collection videos, you know that. But it's the price points for drugstore makeup nowadays that gives me pause, because I just do the cost analysis and I say, I would rather spend a little bit more and get a really nice, beautiful lipstick and amazing packaging that every time I open it, it gives me a little ooh, you know, than to spend, you know, money that I feel is too much money for a drugstore product. That's just my point of view. But again, I have nothing bad to say about any of these products that I am wearing today. I think I look great. Like I said, I've been wearing most of this stuff for the past week and a half, mixing it in with the stuff that's in my makeup capsule, because like I said, when I showed you guys my makeup capsule and I showed you my little thing here that I had things that I was going to be reviewing as well, and it was these items. So I've been mixing it in with everything else that's in here and playing with them, and you know, really enjoying that process, but also really enjoying the products. So yes, like I said, I enjoyed everything that I have on my face. I'm actually really loving my eye makeup. I have to say, I'm actually quite happy with my eye makeup. So yeah, that's my little review. Tell me in the comments down below, guys, are you interested in any of these products? Have you tried any of them? Have any of them piqued your interest? Let me know. And if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.